Today I'm going to do an edge retention test on this Buck 791 Range Pro in 154 cm steel. If you're not familiar with my edge retention test, I'm going to go through cycles where I cut 1/4 inch rope, then what I call soda box cardboard in these 2.5 inch strips. So I'm going to make equal cuts on the rope and cardboard until the knife can no longer cut cleanly through this catalog paper. The introduction you just saw on the knife as it shows now is filmed after the test is already over. So the edge as shown on the knife here and in the introduction is resharpened. The test and results you are about to see is me testing the factory edge of this knife. Get a starting best test on this Buck Range Pro 148. So we're done with cycle 1. We've done 50 cuts. A couple things about this knife. This thing is thick. It's a thin blade stock, but it's really thick and doesn't narrow down at the tip. So this area up here is really, really thick. And this area is quite thin, and it gets thicker and thicker as you go up. So going through the rope, it's actually fine. It just is really polished and not toothy at all, which is very common with the factory edge. That's totally fine. As we were getting ready to get started, R.F. Burt predicted that I was possibly not going to have fun going through the rope, but he predicted I really wasn't going to have fun going through the cardboard because of the thickness of this area where we do our cutting. And he was correct. So usually with the cardboard, I can make pretty straight cuts going this way. And I try to make thin-ish straight cuts, whatever. This is an example of a cut I was dealing with. So I'm starting here and I go this way, and the geometry of the knife is literally pushing it out of the cut. So I can't cut straight. So I had to compensate for that by angling the knife a little bit. So I had to make thicker slices. Some of these came completely out. This cut, if you look carefully, came completely out. I'm starting up here. At here, I actually came out of the cut, but it would come out of the cut and I'd actually have to make a whole nother cut. So the geometry on this thing is just not great up here. It's very strong, I'm sure. This would be a great work knife or hard use knife. Probably if you're the kind of person that always breaks tips off knives, this would probably be pretty good. But so far, that's what we're dealing with. Ending best. $171. So the factory edge of this Buck Range Pro cut 140 times through 1/4 inch rope and cardboard. The starting best score was 148 and the ending best score was 171. This is pretty respectable. It lands roughly about where we predicted it would. Here are some comparable results of other knives tested also on factory edges. Tests on other knives on Spyderco's VG10 have scored 130 and 170 on factory edges. Factory edges on knives from Civivi and Kershaw have scored 150 and 180. Spyderco's BD1N factory edge scored 140. Factory edges in S30V from Benchmade and Spyderco have scored 220, 240, and 250 on their factory edges. When the test was over, I resharpened this knife on a Worksharp Precision Adjust Professional at 18 degrees. That's just what I usually do if possible. Got really, really sharp. Got a really nice edge on it now. So that's where it's at. I'm intrigued by this knife's thickness up here at the tip. It did make for a little bit of a weird experience cutting through that cardboard, as I said, but I think this knife is perfectly acceptable. Handle's awesome, the action's great. It's a little softer and smoother and slower than some Axis type locks, but it works fine. So as I continue to use this knife, I'll keep you guys posted on how it's doing and what my thoughts are about it. But that's how it performed today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know, and thanks for watching.